Hey everyone, welcome to A Great Alternative. In today's video, I'm going to be going over how to make this circular weave basket. Let's get going.
First of all, what do you need? Some clippers, and then what do you need to go and forage? Willow. So this is literally from around where we're sat today. I've come out, this is one of my favourite places to come out with Echo. It's woodland near us, and it's got a few downed willow trees that have fallen over, stayed alive to the degree that they then send up a whole load of lovely straight, let me find another one, I've bent that one, lovely straight branches like this out of the downed main branch. Today's project has been inspired by a Pinterest photo that I saw of a small basket that's in some degree a kind of uniformity to it, but at the same time it just seemed to sort of evolve and flow, kind of like wave into itself. And I was really interested on how they do that, you know, as opposed to a lot of patterns. It's like, oh, clearly that's a pattern, so I need to learn, you know, that specific pattern. This looked like it was a bit of both. Almost a bit of kind of random weave and sculptural elements, and almost a bit of clearly they were doing a thing in a particular way. So that's what we're going to attempt today, is to try and kind of recreate that. And you're going to basically see me learn with you and see what we come up with. First of all though, my thoughts are this is going to be made out of two circles, so a smaller circle and a larger circle. And then I'm going to slowly connect those two circles together with kind of 45-degree angle pieces, so they become the kind of sides, the walls of the basket. And then overall I'm going to be going always the same direction and trying to kind of slowly going to build up, as if you would with like a wreath or something like that, build up that basket, build up that pattern over and over and over and over and over again. So let's get started. The willow that I've got here, these two piles, they're sort of shorter, really short, tiny, thin bits, and the slightly longer bits. They were foraged about a week ago now. Yeah, this time last week. And this stuff here is about a couple of months old. So this would definitely be classed as green. This would be getting semi-green and getting onto dry, but it's been drying, it's been outside. So it's not been in a drying environment in a shed or something. Okay, first of all, we just need to loosen the fibers a little bit. You can do this in multiple different ways. Kind of stroke the willow. You can do it like this, or you could kind of put it on a knee or a leg, something like this, and just kind of work that circle, especially with what we're about to do, which is to create a circle out of it. You're kind of accentuating the curve that's already there, because most of the time willow will want to curve on one, you know, it will probably be bent ever so slightly in a particular way. Okay, and then just make your circle. If you need to rest it against yourself, you can do that. That might make it a bit easier, because that's stopping this bit kinking here. Once you've got your desired size, I think, yeah, about that, then it's just a case of weaving it round and round, keeping it nice and tight. So this is not very nice looking, not very well done. There's quite a lot of kinks in here. I'm hoping as it evolves and develops, because I don't want to just waste material, use it, I'm not going to go and redo another one. Okay, and then the other one. So find my circle. Tuck it in like this, can you see? And then I'm just holding this in. I apologise for my voice. Apologise for my voice. I'm just right on the edge of having quite a serious cough and cold. And it basically made me have not really much of any voice, which I'm sure you've seen. If you've watched some of the recent videos that I've done, it was all through this week where I filmed, 4 different videos, all of which while having this illness. So not so long, but we should be okay. Okay, so we've got our 2 circles. Next, onto the uprights. I tell you what, I am going to remake this circle. for 2 reasons. I need to make this quick and I haven't done a lot of material. So I think that actually, that size needs to be the size for the top, and I need to make a smaller size for the bottom because that's too big. And I always get carried away and may end up making something that's a lot bigger than I hope. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep that and save that for a different project. You see that there? Just going over and under. Once I've kind of gone round once, especially on these small circles, the thicker bit is kind of holding itself in. So then you can just continue. So if you were doing a wreath or something like that with a really long piece, obviously you don't have to hold on, keep it holding on the whole time. It's just when you're starting off. And then if you wanted to, so like for example with something like this, that's not going to get round again. So you could either cut it off or tuck it. I like to kind of keep it neat, tuck it back in somewhere. Like that. So, 2 circles completed. Now I want to start connecting these together, and I'm going to try and end up getting it to be about a 45-degree angle or even more, a tighter angle. And the reason that I'm doing that, as opposed to having them upright like this, like a lot of baskets will have uprights like this that'll be tied into the bottom and then you just do your weave around it. The reason that I'm doing it 45 degrees is because I want that to mimic the movement of the rest of the weave that's going to be coming afterwards. Plus, I'm thinking that it's going to end up going in and out of these still, so it needs to kind of, some of these might still end up on the outside, if that makes sense. The way that I'm going to attach these 2 angles is basically to use your 2 circles. You've got lots of little holes that you've created. So you start off by just putting it within one of these holes. I'm starting with putting the thick end in here. I don't think it matters too much if you start with thin end or thick end. And then I'm going to do 1 wrap around to kind of help it secure it into this circle. So now that's secure in there, I want to then find another hole in the smaller circle. I'm holding on to this, but I don't think I really need to that much. If you have a picnic table or something like that, that could help you. And then roughly find the distance. So again, I'm kind of making this up as I go along, so I think something like this. Quick side note, these first few will be very fiddly. Once you've got about 4 or 5 in, it will probably be okay, but these first few are going to be fiddly. So yeah, about there. And then I think we can probably just bring that one straight back up and put it in again, rather than wrapping it round. No. Then wrap it round, and either, depending on the length of the stick that you're using, either that'll be it and you'll have to just wrap that round, or you potentially might be able to try and bring that back up and tie it back into the top again. I'll clarify, this bit's definitely the fiddliest bit, because you're trying to hold on to about 3 different things at any one time, and also most of those things are trying to come apart. But trust me, it will get easier. So here's 2 in. Can you see kind of roughly what I'm going for? So now it's just a process of filling it in until I've got a structure that stays still, like this. Okay, time to move the camera. Okay, there we go. So we've got our rough structure. I've started also, as well as connecting the bottom to the top, I've started weaving in and out of some of these side branches that I'm making, and that's holding the frame together. So now what I'm going to do is, using the smaller pieces, basically anything I've got left, Honestly, I don't think I've collected enough today. I think this needs easily 200 to 300 canes. And I'm just going to continue weaving, always weaving in the same direction. Also, I'm going to do that, I'm going to try and add on the base. And the way I'm going to kind of add on the base is basically just by, for every time I kind of do a weave, I sort of add on an extra piece that goes across the bottom. And then obviously over time, that will continue and become the base. Okay, let's keep going. The key with this type of weave is that I'm trying to, first of all, not be too tight, so not go in and out of every possible space, and try and open things up quite a bit and leave it fairly loose, and then over time that will all bring it together. Also, neat little trick is if instead of putting it in and then weaving from there, if you use this as like a needle and thread and then you're just weaving this into different holes, it makes it much quicker and easier to create your shape, to create your basket, and also is easier to not then kink and snap your willow rods. But here we are so far, I'd say about halfway through. So just keep on weaving, keep on weaving. Okay, there we go. I've got my thicker materials left, but I've used up all my thin pieces. And there we are, finished spiral weave foraged basket. Other than the fiddly bit at the start, I think this is a great beginner project because it's really simple to do. It's fairly quick. This has taken me probably about an hour to do this. It's fairly strong. However, this is going to be an experiment for myself on how loose it will get, because this is made out of green material and fundamentally this is a bit of a loose weave. So it's more of like a decorative piece. I think over time, because it's fundamentally a loose weave, I think this is going to loosen a lot. So this is definitely not a functional basket for day to day if you're handling it a lot. If it's there to just be pretty and just to look at and to have sort of on a shelf or something, perfect. And that is exactly what I was aiming this type of basket would be. It's more of a pretty decorative basket, whether you think this is pretty or not, neither side here nor there. But it's more of a pretty decorative kind of weave, kind of style. Overall though, pretty pleased with that. So I would say if you're interested in something like that, go out, have a day out, sat outside on a nice public picnic bench, go make yourself one of these. Foraged random weave basket. If you're interested in seeing some of the other videos that I've done on random weave, I've made a big shopping basket out of this same material. I've done a kind of like a mythical springtime forest wreath as well, again totally out of forage material, and a Douglas fir random weave basket, which is almost like a scented hanging basket. I'll leave links for those at the end of the video. Until then though, everyone, thanks again, and I'm gonna go hopefully get over this cold. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.